Improvement is not something you do once and forget about. It's something you live, breathe, and embody every single day. It's not a program or a challenge you sign up for. It's a lifelong relationship with your own potential. The moment you see growth as optional, you begin to drift backward. The truth is, nothing in life stays still. You are either moving forward or falling behind, either expanding or shrinking, either evolving or decaying. Improvement, therefore, must become a lifestyle. It must be built into the way you think, the way you act, and the way you show up in the world. Most people treat improvement like a diet. They do it for a while, see a bit of change, and then return to old habits. But those who live a life of mastery treat improvement like breathing. It's not something they think about. It's something they naturally do. They are constantly learning, refining, and elevating themselves. They don't need an external push because their internal drive keeps them hungry for more. The key to never stop improving lies in making growth your identity, not just your activity. When you truly decide that improvement is a lifestyle, everything around you begins to shift. You stop looking for shortcuts and start valuing the process. You realize that every experience, good or bad, has the potential to shape you into something greater. You start asking better questions, listening more carefully, and observing more deeply. Growth becomes less about chasing perfection and more about embracing progress. You begin to understand that improvement doesn't mean being better than others. It means being better than you were yesterday. The power of this mindset lies in its consistency. It's not the big moments that change your life. It's the small decisions you make repeatedly. Waking up early to pray or read, saying no to distractions, committing to discipline when it's inconvenient. These are the quiet victories that build unstoppable momentum. When you commit to living in growth mode, every action becomes intentional. You start aligning your time, energy, and focus with the person you want to become. Improvement as a lifestyle means you are willing to face discomfort. You stop avoiding challenges and start embracing them because you know that pressure creates strength. Just like a muscle grows only when it's stretched and challenged, your character expands when you face what's uncomfortable. Growth requires you to leave behind what's familiar. You have to let go of old versions of yourself, old beliefs, habits, and attitudes that no longer serve where you're going. It's easy to stay comfortable because comfort feels safe, but safety often breeds stagnation. When you live in a comfort zone, you live beneath your potential. You settle for average when you were built for extraordinary. Improvement demands courage, the courage to confront your flaws, to admit your weaknesses, and to keep working even when no one notices. It demands humility to know that no matter how much you've achieved, there's always more to learn and more to become. The people who live in the mindset of improvement understand that growth is not measured by speed, but by direction. They know that steady, consistent movement toward a worthy goal always produces greater transformation than occasional bursts of effort. They understand that growth isn't glamorous. It's often repetitive, lonely, and quiet. But it's in that silence that you build strength, clarity, and power. Living this way changes how you respond to life. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You begin asking, what is this teaching me? You realize that every challenge, every failure, every delay carries within it a lesson that can sharpen you. You stop blaming circumstances and start taking full responsibility for your development. You begin to see that the process of improvement is not something that happens to you. It's something that happens through you. When you live in this continuous flow of improvement, You start seeing progress in every area. Your mindset strengthens. Your discipline deepens. Your faith grows, and your ability to handle life's challenges increases. You become grounded yet growing, humble yet confident, disciplined yet peaceful. Life stops being about survival and starts becoming about expansion. Each day becomes an opportunity to rise a little higher, think a little deeper, and live a little stronger. The beauty of making improvement your lifestyle is that it creates inner peace. You no longer compare yourself to others because your only competition is who you were yesterday. You no longer chase validation because your growth is not for applause. It's for purpose. You live with quiet confidence, knowing that you are becoming the kind of person capable of handling the life you've been called to live. And every single day, you take another step toward your highest self, becoming more refined, more disciplined, and more powerful with every breath you take. The enemy of greatness is not failure, it's comfort. Most people never realize how dangerous comfort can be because it hides behind peace, familiarity, and ease. But comfort is the silent killer of dreams, the quiet voice that tells you to slow down when you should be pressing forward, the soft bed that convinces you to stay asleep when destiny is calling your name. Greatness is not built in convenience, it's built in challenge. The moment you stop challenging yourself, you stop growing, and when growth stops, your potential starts to die. Comfort feels good because it gives you the illusion of security. You feel safe, stable, and content. But underneath that surface is stagnation. You begin to lose your edge, your hunger, your vision. Life becomes predictable and dull. You stop taking risks, you stop learning, and eventually you stop evolving. The truth is, nothing great was ever created in comfort. Every person who achieved mastery had to break through the walls of ease to reach the realm of excellence. Comfort keeps you in the same circle, repeating the same habits, getting the same results, and wondering why nothing changes. It whispers that you've done enough, that you've earned a break, that you can coast for a while. But greatness doesn't respond to convenience, it responds to commitment. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who don't is that the great ones keep moving even when it's uncomfortable. They understand that pain is temporary, but growth is permanent. To escape the trap of comfort, you must train your mind to see pressure as progress. Every challenge that feels uncomfortable is actually an invitation to elevate. Every situation that stretches you is shaping you into a stronger, wiser, and more capable version of yourself. The resistance you feel is not there to stop you. It's there to strengthen you. Diamonds are formed under pressure, and so are disciplined men and women who refuse to settle for average. When you begin to live with this mindset, you stop running from difficulty and start running toward it. You stop asking for things to be easier and start asking to be better. You understand that the more you stretch yourself, the more capacity you develop. The same struggles that once overwhelmed you become the very experiences that build your resilience. The more you face discomfort, the more power you gain over it. Comfort makes you think you have time, but time waits for no one. Every moment you choose comfort over challenge, you lose momentum. Every time you avoid the uncomfortable work, you delay your progress. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens through intentional struggle. The climb may be steep, but it's the climb that gives meaning to the summit. If you want to stand among the great, you must learn to be at peace with pressure, because greatness is not born in the absence of discomfort. It's born in the mastery of it. Look at nature. Nothing stays comfortable and still. The seed must break to become a tree. The caterpillar must endure darkness to become a butterfly. The seasons must shift for life to flourish. In the same way, you must be willing to break through what's holding you, endure what's stretching you, and move through what's testing you. The moment you choose growth over comfort, you choose life over limitation. Comfort will always try to seduce you with ease, but ease never builds excellence. The gym of growth is built with weights of resistance. You have to train your spirit to handle the weight of responsibility, your mind to handle the weight of uncertainty, and your heart to handle the weight of disappointment. Each rep makes you stronger. Each challenge makes you wiser. Each trial increases your strength of character. The reason comfort is so dangerous is that it disguises itself as happiness. It tricks you into thinking you're content when in truth, you're just stuck. You stop feeling the hunger to improve, and that's when mediocrity moves in. You were never meant to live in mediocrity. You were meant to dominate in excellence. But excellence requires energy, focus, and persistence. And these things only grow in the soil of discomfort. When you embrace discomfort, you start unlocking new levels of yourself that you never knew existed. You start thinking bigger, acting bolder, and believing deeper. Every time you choose the hard thing over the easy one, you train your mind to rise above excuses. Every time you face a challenge head on, you tell your spirit that you are unstoppable. And the more you repeat that process, the more greatness becomes your natural state of being. Mastery is the pursuit that separates the extraordinary from the average. It's not about chasing the applause of others or collecting temporary wins. It's about developing yourself until excellence becomes your default setting. Mastery means you no longer do things just to get them done. You do them with intention, precision, and depth. It's not about doing more. It's about doing it better, deeper, and with greater understanding each time. When you aim for mastery instead of mere success, you begin to realize that the journey is the reward. Success can be fleeting, but mastery is lasting. Success is about reaching a goal. Mastery is about becoming the kind of person who can consistently reach higher goals. Success might open doors for a season, but mastery builds the house. It gives you stability, strength, and substance. People who chase success often burn out because they are fueled by recognition, while those who pursue mastery are sustained by growth. Mastery doesn't seek validation, it seeks transformation. Those who chase mastery understand that it requires patience. You cannot rush excellence. The seed doesn't become a tree overnight. It grows slowly, silently, and consistently. The same goes for personal growth. You build mastery by showing up, even when it's boring, even when no one is watching, even when progress seems invisible. True masters fall in love with the process, not the outcome. They understand that repetition is not punishment, it's preparation. Mastery also demands humility. You can't master something you think you already know. The greatest mistake people make is believing they've arrived. The moment you think you've learned it all, you stop learning. Mastery begins with the awareness that there is always another level. There is always a deeper understanding, a finer detail, a sharper edge to develop. You must approach your craft, your purpose, and your character like an eternal student, hungry, open, and teachable. The pursuit of mastery is also a test of endurance. It will demand more from you than you think you can give. It will require you to push through boredom, fatigue, rejection, and self-doubt. It's not glamorous. It's long nights, quiet effort, and unseen progress. It's doing what others refuse to do so you can experience what others never will. And while success looks like the peak, mastery is the mountain itself, ever expanding, ever challenging, and never fully conquered. Mastery changes how you view failure. When you're chasing success, failure feels final. But when you're chasing mastery, failure becomes feedback. You no longer see mistakes as losses, you see them as lessons. Every fall becomes a teacher, every setback a signal for refinement. You stop asking, why did this happen? And start asking, what can I learn from this? The person committed to mastery understands that perfection is an illusion, but improvement is infinite. The deeper you go into mastery, the more self-discipline becomes your greatest ally. Discipline is what keeps you steady when motivation fades. It's the muscle that carries you through seasons of drought and discouragement. Discipline keeps you practicing when no one claps, learning when no one notices, and improving when no one believes. It's through disciplined repetition that skill turns into instinct and effort turns into excellence. When you live for mastery, you stop comparing yourself to others because you understand that true competition is internal. You realize that your only rival is the version of you who existed yesterday. You measure your progress not by trophies or recognition, but by your growth in wisdom, character, and consistency. The pursuit of mastery removes envy because it aligns your focus on your own path, your own purpose, and your own evolution. Mastery also transforms how you use time. You begin to value depth over speed, quality over quantity. You stop rushing through life chasing results and start immersing yourself in the work that shapes who you are. You learn to slow down, reflect, and refine. You begin to move with purpose, not pressure. Every hour invested in growth becomes sacred, every challenge becomes a stepping stone, and every day becomes another chance to sharpen your edge. The essence of mastery is becoming the type of person who can handle greatness with grace. It's building the inner strength to manage success, the wisdom to sustain it, and the humility to keep growing beyond it. When mastery becomes your goal, success becomes a natural byproduct. You no longer chase the spotlight because your focus is on building light within. And with every step, every practice, and every lesson, you transform from someone who seeks victory into someone who embodies it. Commitment will always take you further than motivation ever could. Motivation is an emotion. It rises and falls with your circumstances, your energy, and your mood. But commitment is a decision, a vow you make to yourself that stands even when the feeling fades. Motivation might start the journey, but commitment finishes it. The reason most people never reach their full potential is not because they lack talent or opportunity. It's because they depend on motivation instead of discipline. When you live by motivation, you become a prisoner of your feelings. You only move when you feel inspired, and you stop when you feel tired. But life doesn't reward the emotional, it rewards the consistent. Commitment doesn't ask how you feel, it asks who you are. It's about keeping your promise to yourself long after the excitement has disappeared. When you operate from commitment, you build a different kind of strength, the strength that doesn't quit when it hurts and doesn't stop when it's hard. Commitment is not glamorous, it's gritty. It's doing the work when no one claps for you, showing up when no one notices, and staying faithful when progress feels slow. It's waking up early even when you'd rather sleep, studying when you'd rather scroll, training when you'd rather rest. Commitment demands that you rise above convenience. It teaches you that real growth begins when you do what you said you would do long after the mood in which you said it has passed. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is rarely intelligence. It's endurance. The committed person keeps moving when the motivated one has already quit. They don't rely on sparks of inspiration. They rely on the fire of purpose burning within them. That fire doesn't come from feelings. It comes from clarity. When you know why you're doing something, commitment becomes easier. The why fuels your how, even when the road gets rough. Commitment also demands sacrifice. You can't be committed and comfortable at the same time. You have to give up distractions, excuses, and temporary pleasures that pull you away from your goals. Every great achievement requires a price, and commitment is the currency. The more you give of yourself to your vision, the more that vision begins to shape who you are. Every act of discipline becomes an investment in your future, a deposit into the account of your destiny. There will be days when you question the journey, when you feel like quitting, when the results seem too far away. That's when commitment is tested. Anyone can keep going when it's easy, but true commitment reveals itself when everything in you wants to stop. The people who transform their lives are not the ones who avoid the struggle. They're the ones who stay through it. They show up again and again until success has no choice but to yield to their persistence. Commitment turns effort into identity. When you stay consistent long enough, it stops being something you do and becomes who you are. You no longer need external validation or reminders because commitment rewires your character. It becomes part of your nature to follow through, to finish what you start, to give your best even when no one's watching. That's when growth becomes permanent, when the habit of showing up replaces the habit of giving up. The world honors consistency because consistency is rare. Everyone loves the idea of success, but few are willing to endure what it takes to earn it. Commitment is the bridge between desire and destiny. You can dream all you want, but until you commit, those dreams remain imagination. Commitment transforms vision into action and action into reality.